Alright, so let's try and maybe associate some bodybuilder characteristics. I'm going to go back and take a look at this, and this character is definitely stockier. The character also has a stronger expression on his face. We're going to deal with that in just a little bit. So let's go ahead and bring this out a little bit and see how that was extreme so far as it busting out of the clothes. So we're going to bring it back, and there, almost like the Incredible Hulk concept here, like rah. Boy, I can do my own Hulk. There we go. Okay, that's a little bit better. So how about a little bit more heavier set? We take a look at him, and he's pretty muscular. He's pretty muscular, but let's just, we can play a little bit. There we are. Add a little bit more softness. That softens up the body just a little bit. And muscular actually adds tone. Here we are. And the smooth is exactly as it implies. It kind of smooths everything out there. Yeah, see how the clothes are fitting better? No smooth and more smooth. That's about stocky. There. There. Okay. Well, just a little bit. Add a little bit of stockiness to the character. Alright, so how about some facial expressions? If I go back to the concept art here, and in massive black we look at his face, his teeth are gritting, his eyes are intense, and let's go to our face camera. Let's move it around, and let's add some expressions here. Right over here, the third one over, we have the face options, or the face library. We have angry. In fact, this is for James to be exact. And let's see if we can find the Poser 8 content. So let's close up the G2. Here's Poser 8 in the bottom here. We have Ryan right down in here. We have Ryan angry. Now this one's going to be associated to Ryan. Let's go ahead and drag and drop it on over. There. Okay. He's gritting his teeth. Yeah, that's a lot better. And watch what happens. Right over here, this symbol is called a morphing tool. If we select it, these little dots are going to show up on his face. I can actually pull and actually morph. So if I want more anger, I find the dot in the center, pull it in, you get a little more anger, a little more angst, pull it out. This is kind of nice. We go to the chin, we can, or bring it down. Okay, let's bring it, how about right about there. So we have all types of options, so definitely come in here and play with these. They're morphing points. As I start to click and drag, I can make facial expressions change a little bit more. Okay, alright. So how about if we go back to the posing camera, and there. Okay, so let's go back to massive black, and I would like to play around with my camera controls, because I suspect that the artist drew this from a perspective that we're using a more telephoto lens. So let's go back to my camera, and let's close out the morphing tools. And let's go to our camera properties. Instead of the head selected, now let's see if we select our posing camera. Okay, it's 25 millimeters, a pretty wide angle lens. It's making everything look fairly wimpy looking, so to speak. What happens if we change it to like a 50 millimeter? Look at the foot. See what's happening to the foot? Let's move it back a little bit. It's starting to take on the perspective of what the original artist had envisioned. In fact, 50 millimeters is not enough. Okay? Because the rules that artists function by are the same rules that photographers function by. It's the rules of perspective. So let's go to 100 millimeter. Okay, and let's pull that out. See what that does. Let's take a look at the. Alright, so now I'm going to have to move the character a little bit more. So we didn't really want that strong of a. Let's try the 50 millimeter again, and let's pull that in. Let's pull it back in. And let's get this position like we had before. So moving the camera can be, there we are. And once again, we can always save these cameras in posing dots as well. Okay, let's take a look at it. Alright, let's experiment some more. Let's go, we had 28 millimeter, let's try a 20 millimeter. And let's get in close. Let's have some fun. There, that's what we want. Okay, see how large the foot is? Okay, so using 3D cameras isn't always going to totally match what the artists are doing. I really like the fact that this foot's a little larger, but it also makes the body a little smaller. So maybe somewhere in between. How about a 30 millimeter? And we're just going to pull back a little bit. Pull it on over. That's a little better. Let's kind of go back and forth. In fact, this knee here, I highly suspect, let's select it. Let's rotate it around just a little bit. Select this leg. Not the body, but the actual leg. Let's kind of move it around, and there we are. Sometimes it's a little temperamental, and move it in just slightly. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a little more accurate. And let's compare it to the artist's work here. So the character is actually leaning forward a little bit more. There. Alright, let's go with before and after. Okay, let's look at the hands real quick. Let's go to our hand controls. Go ahead and hit the hand camera. And if we compare it to the hands, it's basically the fingers are out and intense. And if we go to the hand library, we have options for that. So this is the character's left hand. And if we scroll down, we might see something here. The reach might work. I think the reach does work. And let's scroll down and look at more. Alright, reaching looks good. We're going to click it, and we want the character's what? Left hand. Alright, so we're having a little bit of a problem, but that's okay. It said that it doesn't pertain to this character type, but it did it anyway. So if we have a little bit of an issue, bring the fingers down, select it here, and we correct it here. It's not a big deal. It's just a little extra work, but we get our results anyway. So looking at these fingers, I'm saying ouch. There we are. Let's go select this one, right at that joint. Let's go back to our posing camera. Let's pull it away slightly. There. Okay, there it is. Once we have this pose, let's save the pose.